phone just honked. This is my old Strat that I got new in 1983, or maybe it was 82. That's something I'm trying to figure out. I think it's 1983. It might be for a 1982 Strat, made in Japan. It was a new music store purchase in Chicago at a store called Flats and Sharps on Sheridan. Maybe it's Lincoln. I think it's when Lincoln and Sheridan come together for a second there. Across from the old movie theater that used to have Rocky Horror Picture Show playing every weekend. We traded my first guitar, which was a Hondo 2, the Les Paul looking one. And I remember distinctly being really kind of missing the humbucker. I didn't know the difference between humbuckers and single coils, but when I got the Strat sound, like the guitar I really liked, but the sound was something that took some getting used to, that I missed the warmth of the humbuckers from my Hondo 2, which we traded in, so I couldn't compare them. But little by little, I did customizations and things to this guitar, including both of these pickups are different. Although wait, yeah, no, none of these are the original pickups. I still have the original Strat pickups. This is like a noiseless one, and no idea what's going on here. This is an old, mysterious humbucker, probably Seymour Duncan, that was already used when this was put in here by Terry at Guitar Works in Evanston, Illinois. They did something cool with the wiring and put in a push-pull on this third tone knob, which was supposed to add this to this, but strangely, I just recently did some rewiring, and I might have messed it up. I put a new push-pull knob in the third position here, and wired it up the way I thought it was previously wired. But now when I pull this out, I get all three pickups at once. And there's something really magical about that. Check it out. Here's just the humbucker. It's a lot hotter than the other pickups. Here's the regular neck Strat noiseless pickup. Here's that humbucker at the bridge. Here's the middle pickup position. Here is bridge and middle together. Here's middle and humbucker together. Kind of muffly. But then when you pull the push-pull out, it's like sparkle from the bridge single coil added to whatever magic is happening with this humbucker down here. Oh wait, that wasn't even in the full position. There it is. So that was, there's a secondary, so this must be, yeah, so this is just these two. And then this is all three pickups. it's like one of my favorites for, I mean, my entire life I've been playing this guitar, and that combo of all three pickups is just, there's something magical about it for me, and it's kind of accidental magic. I don't know why it's got such a vibe. Honk. So love this guitar, and I only have a couple electric guitars total, and I've owned maybe less than 10 in my life, and this is the one that I've held on to the longest. So 40 years plus. And I've played it like pretty much every day for 40 years. Now, there was a period of time during the kind of the peak of the VibeSquaD years. I'd say, you know, somewhere from like 2009 to 2013 that I wasn't playing any guitar at all. And I probably picked this up like 10 times, you know. This is really kind of a strange thing. Kind of regret that because, you know, I'm really into playing guitar at this point in my life, like so much. Like it's my favorite musical activity. And I just can't imagine that I didn't pick it up for 4 years or so. I mean, it was almost 5 years. But aside from that, I've played this thing pretty much every day for 40 years. And it's making a lot of noise because I think the direction, yeah, it's like noisy when I face the camera the way I've set it up in this video. So I've got some things to figure out. I wanted to make some videos where there's just kind of casual hanging and talking about musical subjects. So I figured I would start with this, showing off my main axe, the guitar I've had for the longest and that I've used on the most recordings, written the most songs on, played in bands. It's been everywhere. It's been dropped. It's been smashed. It's been, it's got some chunks missing. This pick guard was custom made by Terry at Guitar Works in the 80s, or maybe the early 90s. But I'm thinking around 1990, 91. And the tremolo has been blocked off. So I have 5 springs in and a chunk of wood that's been cut to hold the bridge from moving, and the tremolo is disengaged, because what I was finding is no matter what, bending string, I do a thing a lot where I'll bend one string to get that like kind of pedal steel, and it was making, the bending was forcing the other non-bent notes to go out of tune. And the tremolo used to have a locking, it's like a Shaler, had a locking nut thing that I hated, where you had to, like, you know, Allen wrench down, you tune, and then you Allen wrench down, and then you use these little fine tuners to get it in tune. And I messed with that so much, and I had used the whammy bar so infrequently that I finally just decided that I wanted to basically turn it into a stop tail. And I asked the guys at the local guitar store if they could put a regular bridge on this, but because it's routed and there's so much metal and, you know, there's so much to the tremolo, it's really not ideal and can't be necessarily replaced with a stop tail bridge in a, you know, without doing too much construction. And I think that there is some kind of magic to the fact that all the tremolo metal parts are still in the body of the guitar, in terms of like it almost has its own resonance reverb because of the springs like in the guitar. It's just this little bit of extra something that I notice, and it has a lot of sustain, and it's just I wouldn't want to mess with it. I feel like the mojo, the real magic DNA of this guitar is that the bridge is still the old made in Japan Strat kind of tremolo monstrosity bridge. And so this thing is like, you know, it's special. It's very, very imperfect. And it's very, very me. I wore this into the pickguard from playing, you know, every day. And these frets in between the frets are slightly scalloped where I've played and played and played. But it you know, it stays in tune extremely well. It plays extremely well up and down the neck. And then when I recently had it set up at a place in Boulder, Colorado, he got the strings down so far, the action so low, that it wasn't buzzing anywhere, but I couldn't stand the feel of it. Like, I don't really like, I'm so used to the struggle. I've had such high action kind of medium quality guitars my whole life that just being able to like bend the strings in a certain way and dig in the way I like to, if the action's too low, it doesn't feel right. Like, so I'm not a shredder type of player, and I don't do any really like tapping stuff. And there's a lot of expression that happens because the strings aren't so low. So I actually had him raise the action back up a little, split the difference. But he was just impressed with how low this guitar could go. It's just has a really straight neck, made in Japan. And I remember when I got it, like, made in Japan Strats were not cool. Made in USA Strats were, you know, cost more and were the thing. And so I remember people being like, oh, the made in Japan, like that it was a you know, a lower quality guitar than the made in America ones. And I'll just say that I think that the made in Japan era from the late 70s through the mid 80s was incredible. The factories are they're well known for making some incredible guitars, and I love the Japanese factory guitars from that era. And I actually have a 1977 Takamine acoustic that is so nice that I bought from Japan. And it's a Martin copy from like the lawsuit era, when you can look that up, when some Japanese guitar builders were copying some American guitar designs and giving them a run for their money in terms of the actual quality of the guitars. They were really excellent, but they were copyright infringement, trademark infringement, or whatever it is in design, guitar design land. And so like my Takamine, I'll break that out for another video. It's super nice guitar. And love this one with all my heart. And it would never ever sell this guitar. And at this point, it's been modified like crazy, so it's not some kind of, you know, a vintage guitar that I couldn't even really sell this guitar, so I wouldn't. But it's just a hodgepodge of, you know, all kinds of modifications, but it plays so nicely and really is a big part of my sound as a musician and as a guitar player. And so I wanted to show it to you and talk to you about it just a little bit and play it a little bit. Whiffed. I'm hacking my way through Frank Zappa's Zoot Allures, which is one of my favorite Zappa tunes. But yeah, this guitar is super special to me. Love it. And I wanted to show it to you and talk a little bit about it. Big ups Flats and Sharps Music in Chicago, if they're still open, and Guitar Works in Evanston, if they're still open. I haven't been to either of those shops in many, many years. But in 1983, I was 12 years old and extremely excited to be getting this. Thanks, Mom and Dad. And probably put 10,000 hours of playing into just this one instrument. At least. Maybe double that. So just wanted to introduce you. It's the good old made in Japan Fender Stratocaster 1983. All right, friends, I'm going to sign off. May or may not post this video. We're going to see how cringy it is for me to watch it back. But if I do, that's because I survived the levels of cringe. So please be nice in the comments. I'm not out here saying I'm the best guitar player in the world, but I do really enjoy guitar music and playing guitar, and my guitar little guitar collection and gear that I have. So I'll be showing you these things in some subsequent videos, and thanks for hanging. See ya.